Welcome everyone. You can see more people are joining. Welcome everyone. We'll just give 5 minutes for everyone, for us to have a good quorum to start. Hope you're enjoying the jazz soul vibe as we wait.
Lakini kuna webinar na join.
Welcome everyone. We're about to start. So waiting for us to have a good forum. Then we can start. Hi everyone. Hi, welcome to our webinar. I hope you can hear me. I hope you can see me. Again, welcome everyone to our session. As we wait to get to 20, I hope all of you are excited for this session. It's going to be a practical one. It's going to be an interesting one. I hope you have your pens. I was going through the presentation and for sure you need your pen. The session is going to be recorded, yes, but you definitely need a pen. You definitely need a paper. It's going to be a very, very interesting one. Most of these tools, I mean, like most of you, I'm just going to learn with you. So I'm really looking forward to today's session. This is our first webinar of the year. Last year we had a session in October, and this year we have the session August. It's an interesting turn of events. Hopefully next year we'll be having monthly webinar sessions. Mostly they're going to target AI and AI automation and performance, professional aspects in QA. So we're going to start in the next 2 minutes. Our speaker of the day mentioned that he's going to need only an hour, which means that it's going to be very, very heavy. So just be ready with your pen and paper, for sure. Great. I think we can start. So the session today is going to be split into 3, actually 4. Second. are the challenges of working from not the office. The video can decide to not turn on. So I will share my video again. Okay, so I'll just sorry, I don't think you could hear me. So again, welcome everyone for today's session. Our session of the day is going to be recorded. So as much as you're going to have a recording, we still, come with I hope you have your pens and your paper for today's session. It's going to, as I'd mentioned, it's going to be split into 3. We're going to have a small session that I will do, and then we're going to follow it up with now the main session, which is AI testing. Then the third session is going to be a practical session where we're going to see how we can test our AI. And then the final session is going to be the Kahoot session, of course, with questions on what you have learned, as well as just a few gifts from Kiwami Tech. So just ensure that you're keen. Ensure that you're keen. So I'll just share my screen so that we can go through the intro section, and then quickly get into why we are here. Okay. So just a second. So just, I don't know who confirmed for me whether they can see my screen. So I will start. Isaiah just confirm for me whether you can see. I don't think Isaiah is here. Emmanuel, you can confirm for me whether you can see my screen.
Yes, Jacqueline, we can see your screen.
Okay. Well, okay, perfect. So I'll stop share again for a bit, sorry. Just a second, people. Okay, just ensure also you mute yourselves.
Christine or Cynthia, let me assist you to mute yourself. Okay, cool. So I'll share my screen. So we're just going to go through a run on Kiwami Tech a bit before now we get to the good stuff. Okay, so the main reason why we are here, our intention of this session is to go through AI testing. Very big difference from AI in testing, something we're just going to go through again later on in the slides. So our main goal is to be able to know or discover how we can test LLMs, how we can test agents, how we can test AI systems, just a sneak peek on how we can do all these things. Models are coming up every single day. And I mean, at least we need to know how to have our foot on the ground first. Because most of the times you'll find that these testing tools will keep evolving as the models keep changing. So the main goal of this session, again, is to just go through the tools that are there, and Emmanuel will guide us on the same. So before we do that, this session, the webinar session, is powered by Kiwami Tech. And what Kiwami Tech is, we are a testing as a service company, as well as a school for training, a school for empowering graduates. So we are testing a service solution, and we also provide testing a service solution, as well as the Kiwami School, which acts as our empowerment ground. So why us? What is our intention? Why are we here? Why do we bother? So our goal is to nurture quality assurance through the bootcamps and attachment programs that we have. We also intend to build an active QA community through every conference that we've had all throughout the year. The goal is to ensure that quality assurance is recognized as actually a career, because most of the time we find that QA is not, it's like a stepping stone to development. So we are trying to change the narrative. In the previous conference, AppCake conference, we referred to us as product quality engineers. So we ensure that the product is ready and it's in good condition before it's released. So building an active community, have talent-ready QAs in our Kiwami Tech talent pool. So I'll share all these links. We train professional QA courses. We promote ISTQB certified individuals. If you are a QA in the industry, you know, like this last quarter is usually the best quarter for sending your CVs out. And the main thing that is usually concentrated on is, are you ISTQB certified? So again, through our ISTQB vouchers, we promote individuals to be ISTQB certified. So that's a bit about Kiwami Tech. I'll share all these links throughout the session. Now into the reason, again, why we are here. AI testing, not AI in testing. But what is the difference between the two things? AI in testing basically is the use of AI techniques to improve and automate the software testing processes. So you use the AI as your enabler and not as the system under test. But when we say AI testing, we mean that whatever is under test is the AI models. So AI testing is testing of AI-based systems or applications to ensure their correctness, reliability, fairness, and robustness. And I think Emmanuel is going to widen our minds in terms of knowing how to do these things. Another comparison comes in what's the purpose of AI in testing is to what's the purpose of each AI in testing and AI testing. So AI in testing purpose is to improve testing efficiency, accuracy, and automation of traditional or non-AI application. AI testing benefit is to validate and verify AI models, algorithms, and systems. What is under test? What's the system under test in comparison of these two terminologies? So the system under test in AI in testing is the traditional softwares, our web, our mobile, our application, our APIs. We basically use AI to enable us to run the test that we have. AI testing, the system under test in AI testing is the AI-driven products, which are chatbots, recommendation engines, autonomous systems, ML pipelines, voice systems. And this, again, these are some of the things that Emmanuel will give us in detail on the same. So where do they come in handy? How I mean, are these two different approaches in software quality assurance? So in AI in testing comes in test case generation, in test script maintenance, in defect prediction, in visual testing, and regression optimization. If you're still writing your test cases by thinking, you're not taking advantage of AI. So test case generation is actually the key aspect or mostly used aspect in terms of AI. AI testing, where it comes in, AI model bias. You basically, AI testing comes in handy in verifying AI model bias, accuracy, and fairness. We are able to also see model drift detection and robustness to adversary inputs and explainability and transparency. So just again, getting into AI in testing, differentiation with AI testing. You can see AI in testing comes in handy when generating test cases, as we've discussed in the other one. AI self-healing broken test scripts from after the UI changes, predicting defect-prone areas in the code, AI analyzing logs for anomalies. But AI testing comes in handy when you're testing the chatbot with the intention of recognition of accuracy, engine fairness, and validation of fraud detection in the model. You're testing the model. So those are just some of the tools that I utilized. I think also in the tools, ChatGPT, I mean, it deserves its flowers. AI testing, these are some of the tools that, again, a few of them we're going to look into today. So what are some of the disadvantages or challenges or pitfalls of AI in testing? One, data quality for AI training. You'll find that we don't have enough data to train our AIs or to use AI in performing whatever test that we want to perform. Number two, using AI in testing, some of the challenge is false positive and over-reliance on AI without human oversight. When we come to AI testing, the challenge we lack is the lack of standard in AI system testing, because it's a new thing. Like, we have not stabilized yet in knowing, you see the way we do like our normal systems, there's no standard for testing this AI. There's also difficulty in validating non-deterministic outputs, and there's also a biased issue. So what are the advantages of AI in testing? How does it help us in terms of, yes, it helps in test case generation, yes, it helps in detecting defects. But what are the advantages? Why should we use it in our testing? That is AI in testing. So there's reduced maintenance effort, faster regression cycles, and high defect detection accuracy. Again, it comes in as a helper, not basically to take over the testing process. AI in testing, what are the benefits of AI in testing? You find that you have safer and fairer AI systems. There's increased trust in the AI decisions, and there's also regulatory compliance. So AI in testing helps QA engineers, DevOps teams, software developers, but AI testing comes in handy for AI or machine learning engineers, data scientists, and data analysts, and users who are relying on AI decisions. So this webinar session is basically for AI testing. We are looking at the models themselves, not AI in testing. But if you want to get more details on AI in testing, we held a conference, a summit on the 4th of April this year. and we had quite a number of speakers and panelists who were discussing majorly on AI in testing. We had a discussion on the summary or basically the introduction on AI, how models are created, from Sally Musanga, who's actually a graduate technical assistant at Carnegie Mellon University. Yeah, so she discussed on how models are created, how you create a model just from the ground, like now the initial stage. We also had someone who discussed AI in software development. We had Emmanuel again who showed us the practical, and everything was just going like this. We did not understand. And now he's here to just expand on what he discussed about. We also had Ikena who discussed on AI in performance testing. We had Ibironke, one of the biggest names in Africa in terms of quality assurance, who discussed about AI in security testing. We had Rahul who discussed on AI in automation testing. So if you want to, again, just listen in and have a review on what was discussed on that, I'll share again the links to this, and then you guys can check that there. We had a very interesting agenda on that on the 4th of April. I'll again share the link to the same. So as I'd mentioned, as Kiwami Tech, as well as some of our partners, we concentrate on bringing together QAs, product quality engineers. There's also a recorded session on AppKek conference, which again discussed about AI. Their theme was AI. So if you want to get a summary of what was discussed on that, again, I'll share the recordings in the chat. So onto the interesting bit. Agenda of today, we're going to start with the introduction to testing LLMs and AI agents. We're going to discuss on testing beyond traditional QA, AI, LLMs, and agents. And then we're going to have a practical sessions, which includes bilingual evaluation and a study. I'm telling you, after this session, we're going to have learned so many tools and so many acronyms to these tools. So again, this is the flow of events for today. I hope everyone has their books, have their pens. Before I introduce Emmanuel, I hope you guys are ready so that we can get into the session. Thank you so much. So I'll just stop sharing, and then Emmanuel, ready when you are. So as Emmanuel is organizing himself,
Should I start?
yeah.
You hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right.
Before you start, let me just give an intro. So, so Emmanuel is a consultant, currently a consultant in software quality assurance, again, focusing on AI testing. So even the things that he's going to teach us is going to be something that he's actually used practically. It's not just hearsays, it's not ChatGPT generated content. It's something that, again, he has used and he's been able to put them in practice. Additionally, I know he will not say, but he's a master's student, and we're just waiting for his graduation so that we can also celebrate that in addition to being an AI tester that we know. Yeah, welcome, Emmanuel. Thank you.
Oh yeah, hello. So is it evening? Is it afternoon?
It's afternoon.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, my name is Emmanuel, and I think I have been introduced well, so I won't really go there one more time. So let me just get to the work of the day. So before I start, I hope that you all are ready to learn. I hope that you have questions, and if you have questions, please I think there's a place you can be put to write the questions. Is there in the chat box something like that?
Yes, please. If you have
Oh,
any questions, please just post them on the chat, and then we
ah,
will pick them and answer them.
yeah. So you also allow me not to turn on my camera because I mean,
It's okay. It's okay.
yeah. So yeah, that is it. And guys, I saw a poster that was shared. I'm not that brown, so tukiparana usishangae. Huyu kijana I saw a very brown guy in the poster. I think that was a camera thing. Anyway, now I'm sharing my screen right away. All right. So this is my first slide, and I think you can see. What can you see? Someone just what is it that you're seeing?
Um, so we can see title Introduction to Testing LLMs and
All
AI
right.
Agents. Yes.
All right. Yeah. So thank you. During my presentation, I won't be able to look at the meetings because I'm going to concentrate on the slides. So if you have anything, just Jacqueline, you're going to just alert me. Now, so introduction to testing LLMs and AI agents. Um, it's so interesting. It's so interesting that as technology grows, there's a lot of, I mean, some new avenues that also have a lot of opportunities to just to run away with, and one of them is AI. AI. So, Jacqueline, are you seeing the right screen? Are you seeing a presentation that is in full screen, or are you seeing?
Seeing full screen.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
There's a time that I missed somewhere. All right, so we're proceeding now. The agenda of the day, as introduced before, is to understand why AI testing really matters. So, I mean, understanding why AI requires also to be tested. And we're going to focus on actually the approach because I know that I'm speaking to people that have technical skills in QA. Oh, yeah, that is my assumption. And I also know that I'm speaking to people who perhaps have technical skills in building models. I also think I'm speaking to people who maybe they're web developers or they're exploring, they're getting started with tech as well. So I know it's a diverse group of people. So understanding why AI systems are tested is going to be quite relevant. And I want you to mark the keyword, the approach, because we're going to realize that AI systems is different from traditional softwares. The key thing of the day as well, one of the agenda. Someone tells me you don't call it agenda, you call it an agenda because it's one. So foundations of MLs and LLMs. So you're also going to understand some concept of ML and the LLMs. You know, LLMs is a subset of ML, right? We're going to understand, and specifically those things that are relevant to testing. And that agenda is to how to test LLMs and AI agents. Now, so for this one, it's going to be practical strategies um, for evaluating a lot of things, actually. Just to name a few, we talk about bias, we talk about safety, we talk about robustness, we talk about correctness. There's a lot of other things that is what testing in LLMs or AI in general. Now, we're also going to see about the AI toolbox. This is the toolbox that these are the tools that we'll be using for testing. You know, this is just for an intro session to the whole entire course, right? So you need to understand the essential tools that you ought to learn, and also the frameworks for AI quality assurance. And finally, you're going to see one of one of the metrics of testing AI models. It's called the PLU. It's a score actually. It's used for it's used to check bias. Yeah, let me just use the name bias in real world scenarios, specifically for text that have been translated But I'm also going to share with us how that is also used in um, even in generative AI, because it's very effective. Yeah. So I think once the agenda is done, um, the session will be over. Yeah. So so keep the questions coming, as I said, and let us proceed and see what next. Now, so I just want us to compare and contrast traditional software testing and AI testing. The reason as to why I included this particular slide is I want us to just understand the whole thing, so that even as we're getting started, we know whatever that we're actually doing. Um, when we talk about AI models and traditional softwares, so I'm referring to traditional softwares as the softwares that are purely based on algorithms, right? And by saying algorithms, I don't necessarily mean the products that are results of algorithms, or rather that are structures and the sort. But I mean software that work on rules, software that are rule based, and that means any software that is not run by AI, right? So talk about a mobile app, talk about a full stack website, talk about um, talk about a backend code. All of those codes that we write, that has to be written, that has to be tested, both the unit testing and also the, let's say, the black box testing. So that is a traditional software for me. So when we are testing this one, it's quite different from testing AI based systems, and also models, because you realize that rule based softwares or traditional softwares, they are fixed input, and also that translates to, of course, a fixed output. When you write a login form and you say that a wrong password, when someone enters a wrong password, let them get a rejection, right, or a failure message is thrown to them. That is a fixed output. That is programmed. That is it. That is it. But now, in AI, you give an input. Then AI sometimes, because they're generative AI, let me focus on generative AI. You realize that it may try to, um, just give some firing outputs. It gives a lot of firing outputs. It may even try to correct that, and just it may try to correct that. It may try to, tell you this is perhaps the right thing. This was the wrong thing. It is not. It is not fixed. That is why it's not determinable. And this actually makes it hard to test AI systems. It's really very hard to test AI systems, because up to now there's no benchmark. When you're doing research, you realize that when you want to test AI systems, or when you want to test AI systems in research, you realize that there's no valid uh, benchmark that exists to test the truth of an output that is given by an AI model, because it's not deterministic. So there's a lot of research that is going there in how do we determine that this output is actually true. Forget about precision. We're going to learn about precision, but how can we determine that this is actually the truth? So there's a lot of things, because truth in AI has to be grounded in some literature, right? It has to be grounded in something. There's a difference in traditional softwares, because it is grounded on the rules. But in AI, how can you ground that? Yet the data that are actually used to train is also changing. Now, in traditional softwares, you also have the oracles. The oracle. There's this famous term, the oracle problem. How do you define that? This is like, I've actually talked about that, right? Like the expected results. I think determinism has just talked about that, so let me not go there. Now, errors in a traditional software, they are logical. When you get an error in a traditional software, it's logical. You can actually tell that this is actually it. There was an error in this line. This line did not follow, let's say, a solid principles. If you're using Java, or rather OP, something like that, and be able to say this is a wrong thing because of this. It's logical. You can actually make sense out of it. Now, but in AI, it gives you an output, but actually it's hallucination. It's just hallucinating. We normally refer to them as they are plausible. They seem to be true, but actually they are not true. Mm? They are also biased sometimes, and they lack reasoning. Of course, neural networks are developing the brain of AI, but then at the end of the day, they still lack the logical reasoning of a man, right? Testing focus. Now, when you're testing traditional softwares, we are normally testing, focusing on their functionality, their performance, and the integration. But in AI testing, specifically when you talk about generative AI, you're testing about the correctness of the output, the fairness of the output, the safety of the output, and also the robustness of the model in its sense. And of course, the tools that are used in traditional softwares, talk about Selenium, talk about the unit, talk about Postman, name them. But in AI testing, we use different things to test the correctness, the safety, the fairness, and the bias. So we use Langsmith. Langsmith is actually used for this one. Is we're going to learn about it. Detoxify, also going to check on that. Fairland, and also this one called the Blue or the Rock. Now these two things are used to measure to score the same things. They're using the same things in translation tasks. Now, once that is said, in summary about this slide is, I think it's quite clear for you that shifting from a deterministic or deterministic output, that is a traditional software, to a probabilistic system, it also changes the approaches. So it changes the approaches, and it also changes the quality. Actually, what is quality? What quality is quality? What is quality? It also changes that, right? And definitely it demands a lot of things, and also a shift in mindset. Now, when you're testing AI, when you're testing LLMs, we have tools and also we have frameworks. We're going to get back to this particular slide later when I'm explaining the frameworks and the tools. Now, we have whatever that you're seeing on your screen. Now, we have, I have divided them into four. This is four areas where we test AI, where we test LLMs, where we test agentic AI. And now, during this course, the agentic AI that we'll be testing is the agentic AI that run on an LLM model. Are we together? We're going to be testing LLMs. We're going to be testing agents that use the brain of LLMs. I hope that is clear. We're not going to be testing about there's multimodal models, right? Look about the models that process and generate multiple types of data. A single model can actually generate text, images, and audio. So we're not going to be testing agents that run on multimodal models. There's also talk about the CAN networks. These are type of learning model, that generates new data samples. This is, when I talk about CAN, I'm sorry, this is generative adversarial networks. These are another type of models that are used to generate new data. These are basically used in unsupervised learning. We're also going to, we're not going to focus on multimodal models because that is a whole new thing. But of course, the tools that we're going to learn here is applicable actually to the other models. But there are some of the models that demand specific tools and also frameworks because of their ability and because of their capability as well. Now, I saw it wise to give us an intro about ML. You can't just test models. You can't just test agents. You can't just test LLMs without understanding machine learning. and also its relevance to the career of testing. Now, I want to say this, and I want you to hear me well. I met a friend of mine some few days ago and was telling me, you know what, Rono, I want to be an AI tester, but I don't know how to build models. What can I do? And I was like, you know what, let me tell you something. Testing models is totally different from building models. So you have to understand the fundamentals of ML, and you don't have to actually know how to build that particular models. Like, you don't have to have a practical experience of building models for you to test models. I can guarantee you that, because there's a lot of models that are what to be tested, and they don't require, most of when you're testing agents, when you're testing agents, it's an agent is just basically talk about the chat GPT itself. It's an agent, right? It's a port, but it's a kind of an agent that is running on what, on an open AI model, right? So you don't have to know even how that was built, but you have to see, you have to interact with a model on a chatbot, and so you're going to be interacting mostly with the outputs of that particular model. And so that's not a requirement, but I will advise someone to just understand how ML are built, how models are built. Just understand kidogo tu ile tu knowledge ya kila mtu, that's general knowledge of a techie person. Yeah, and just maybe let me digress a bit. There are some of the websites that actually hire people to test their models. I know you've heard of Remotax, right? You've heard of Outlier. Those two websites, they actually hire you to test LLMs. And if you've ever worked with them, you'll realize that there's nowhere that you're going to write a code to test an LLM. There's no way you're going to write a code to test LLMs. Specifically, if you're doing LLMs testing or rather agentic testing. But now you have to understand that you're testing another different niche of models, because that is capsuled into. This is a model that has been made into a chatbot, and you're now testing that particular chat based on the domain. But there's metrics. There's also metrics that you're given there. If you are serious, people working on Outlier and Remotax testing LLM, sometimes they're not serious guys. They're just doing for the sake of doing. But if you're serious with it, you'll realize that you've been given you in the guide that you're given. You're usually given a rubric to actually score. You're given a rubric to score. You're given a rubric to score, to score, and that is when you're testing, the conversational AIs. Yeah. So, but if in an industry level, where a company has hired you as an AI tester, you'll be testing. You're going to learn about the phases of testing. We're going to learn about the phases of testing, and we'll see where each and every person comes in the whole pipeline of testing an AI model, or rather an AI agent. That said, allow me to now focus again on the ML. Supervised and unsupervised learning. It's wise for us to understand what the difference between supervised and unsupervised learning. I want you to be patient with me. I know that maybe this is something that you know, but anyway, let's just do it again. So, supervised learning. Supervised learning is a type of training that is done to a model based on data that has actually been labeled. Our famous example is spam detection, analyzing that this is spam, this is not spam. And of course, when you break down the supervised learning, there's now classification. So in supervised, there's classification, and in classification, there's also binary classification, and also there's binary classification, and what else? You can please type the other type of classification that is in classification. There's a type of classification apart from binary classification. So spam and not spam is binary classification, but they all fall under supervised learning. And supervised learning it's a type of learning that is, or rather training done to a model, but then it's based on unlabeled data. So you're just giving it some cluster of data, it's just giving a lot of data. The normal give it data, you give a model, you train a data based on an unlabeled data, and you expect the model to actually make some predictions. But in unsupervised learning, they normally cluster, they give the outputs as cluster. So they cluster this as they cluster the results as they cluster results. A good example will be you're training a model to help you to predict uh, your real estate project within Nairobi, based on a lot of factors. It may not give you an exact value, but it will cluster that and tells you in this area in Lavington, or rather this area, this is the price range, right? It's not exact value. That is an example. Now, what is the relevance of understanding that, or what is the relevance of supervised learning anyway, or understanding this concept? When you talk about supervised and unsupervised learning, they impact our test coverage and also the strategy. So when you talk about a supervised learning and unsupervised, you have to understand the testing that I'm doing. Am I doing and am I doing a testing, and the model that I'm trying to test is it supervised or unsupervised? When you know that, your test coverage will definitely change. Like how many test cases are covered, right? Am I have I have I have I have I, is someone speaking or you can't hear?
Yeah, he's muted now.
Sorry?
Yeah, I've muted him. Can proceed.
All right. It's also going to change your evaluation strategy because both of them have different strategies of evaluating them. Now, NLP. Wow. When we talk about supervised learning and unsupervised learning, we also come to now natural language processing. Um, in the hierarchy of machine learning, NLP is a subset of just ML in general. So that we come to LLMs, which is a subset of NLP as well. Now, there are some key things that you ought to understand. That is, but this is used in tokenization, the embeddings, the language models. This is just some of the concept that is worth understanding, because when you understand this, it's going to help you to even in the testing phase. Because when we talk about tokenization, this is just breaking your text into units. I want you to mark this because I placed this intentionally here, because even when you're going to talk about the blue score, we're also going to break a text that we are going to be testing into tokens. And I think that is okay. That I explained well. And talk about the embeddings now. This is what was some matrix? Was it matrix? This is representing data in form of in numerals, or in forms of ones and zeros. So when you give a text to an LLM, it can't really understand a string. It can't understand my name is Emmanuel in its raw form. You have to break it down so that it can be able to understand it. So when you break down your data into one and zeros, they're embedded into a matrix, and then that particular matrix is now what is used to actually proceed in the training phase, and also in the evaluation phase of the LLM, of the model, and also in the testing phase of the model. Um, language models. Language models is a subset of natural language processing. So natural language processing is, as I said, it's from the word processing. It's a technique, right, that is used to process natural language. So large language models, these are models that utilize NLP technique to predict the next word. Talk about the GPT. That is a Gen AI, right? So that means it's an NLP. It's NLP based. Now, let's talk about LLMs. So we're going to talk about transformers as well. So this is just the architect. It's normally referred to as the attention mechanism. I'm going to explain this on a later slide because it's such an interesting thing. Now, prompt response. It's also wise for us to understand prompt response. You know, when you're testing LLMs, um, there's so many ways, and we are going to learn that even as we proceed. But one of them is testing by prompting. And that is why we have prompt response. There's actually a technique, or rather, just there's a prompt where it's a research, it's an area of research that tries to test the LLMs or improve the prompts that we give to an LLM and use another LLM to just test the quality of that LLM. So we're using something called LLM as a charge. That is something else I'm also going to learn even as we proceed. But just understand prompt response is just, of course, just a response of a prompt, right? From the word prompt response, a response of a prompt. When you prompt, what is that response? Because that is the data that we're using for training. If you have questions on this, please write them down and write them down so we can do, because I know that there's a lot of things that we can actually learn here on this, and we're still going to go deep on them. So just don't worry about it. So let us see about our next slide. What is it about? All right. So okay, testing beyond traditional QA. Now, this is a redo of slide 3. But for this case, because I think we've talked about this, so I don't want to I don't want us to just repeat the same ones again. But I want us to focus on these levels of AI testing. Remember, I said that we're going to get back to this. Now, from the very first phase of you building a model, you have to ensure that there's quality of data. Now, this is done by different kinds of people in the pipeline of building a model up to deployment. Data quality can be done by the AI engineers who are building the models, because they are going to apply their data science skills here in validating their data. And then, of course, they are going to break down their data and determine which data are they going to use for their training, which data are they going to use to train the model, which data are they going to use to validate the model, and which data are they going to use to test the model. Now, when you're developing an AI model, those 3 things is very important. Training the model, testing the model, and evaluating the model, and also testing the model. So those are key things in, in the development of a model. And in most of the cases, the testers are not involved here, because unless you have the skills to build a model, then you can actually do that. So you can actually do, sorry. So you can actually do that. Now, model evaluation is another thing. And of course, that is something that this is now, there's 2 kinds of evaluation. The evaluation that is done when the model is being built, number 1, and there's the evaluation that is done to actually now improve the model. Most so when we're building models that involves, prediction of data, text generation, or something that their mistakes is quite sensible. But I mean, every AI system, their mistakes. The mistakes of AI models are quite sensible. I mean, they're not supposed to happen actually. But models are models. They don't think logically. So this evaluation, the second evaluation that is done, is now done by the testers. And I think this is, and not I think, and this is now where you as a tester and as a tester, you're going to start working here. So if you have been involved in the pipeline, in the development pipeline, you're going to be here writing the rating evaluation on the first release of the model. Once the model has been released, you have the model. Okay, let's do it. Go and now see what was the intent of the model. If it was an LLM, let's say if it was a Gen AI, like a generative AI, like ChatGPT, right? You now start prompting that. You start calculating the blue, the rock, and the part scores. These are the metrics. You just now start testing and evaluating that, so that you can provide data for another for retraining, or just now another scoring, or for another release as well. Then now there's a system testing. This is another level of testing. Now this is, you're testing LLMs in application. This is a different context. We are testing the system that is, the model has been released and you've exposed your endpoints, right? I hope we understand endpoints. Okay, let me not assume. You've built your system and you've exposed access to that model, of course, through API. So someone can access the model to an API, and they have created a chatbot that is running on that. Your model is the brain to that particular chatbot, right? So someone is testing the chatbot, and this is perhaps, let's say, a domain specific chatbot. Let's say a domain for, let's say, an educational chatbot, right? So you're also testing at this particular level, and you'll be testing how well it works based on the domain that you've customized the model for. A good example is, let's say you've built a chatbot and you've actually customized it for a school. So that means you'll have to create your own knowledge base. You have to create your own knowledge base where the AI model calls and picks information, or rather data there, or rather insights, and it replies, let's say, to inquiries about a school. I was talking about an educational chatbot. That is a system that is run by AI. Now, agentic testing. Now, for agentic testing, it's quite interesting. I'm actually interested in agentic AI because when you're building agentic AI, you don't have to build the model grounds up. You're consuming APIs. That is why I like agentic AI. So you just combine like four models, a single model, or a multi-model. It's just cool stuff. Just interesting stuff. So this is, agentic AI is using a multi-step reasoning. What do we mean by that? As I said, an agentic AI, an AI agent has three. I mean, it has an ability to actually plan, to plan and to execute. So it retrieves information, it plans, and then it executes that. It's just an autonomous. It's autonomous. Agentic AI is just autonomous by itself. It just do by itself. Do things by itself. A good example will be a model that actually plans for you your meetings. I was seeing a guy, some few days ago. He was presenting an agent that helps him to actually change standards. You see those standards that, yes, in under some billion, you're working from home, so you don't want to wake up. You see, so the agent actually get into the meeting for him. It appears serious there, and it collect the notes, and it completes the tickets. See, before you wake up. So in the morning, you're waking up very early. Let's say you're waking up 8 or 9, and the standard was 8, or let's say 6 or 5 or 8. You already have where to start. Okay, that is, that is as an agent. It does and plans by itself. Now, it also have a different kind of reasoning, because we are combining three different kinds of models here. So testing this is also different, and it's going to be a very interesting. This is what I like the most. It's going to be a very interesting way to test agentic testing, agentic AI testing. It's quite interesting because we have to test the communications, we have to test performance. There's a lot of things that has to be tested in agentic AI. Now, what are some of the testing skills and techniques that we ought to learn if you want to be an AI tester? Or yeah, just techniques. Let me start from ground up, bottom up. Human in the loop. Of course, this is the fallback plan. This is, can I say really a fallback plan? No, human in the loop is not a fallback plan, guys. It's never a fallback plan. This is actually something that, human in the loop. We need your logical reasoning. That is why you're a tester, right? We need your testing, because we are going to learn that when you are testing, let's say a Gen AI, as we are going to see in we are going to be writing some reference text, again. If you've worked with talk about outlier, you talk about remote tax, all of them, you're going to realize that they normally give you some reference text. They give you some text to refer to. They give you the actual, just a correct text. So you also, you kind of, yeah. So let me not, I wanted to say it's kind of a supervised thing. Yes, it's a supervised thing. So they give you a reference text, and then you compare the test, the text from the AI, and also and with the reference text. So human in the loop, very important, because we need human judgment. You have to be there. Someone has to be there. Now, another skill that you ought to learn is how to test robustness and reliability. There's something called the adversarial prompts. When you're testing AI, we're normally told, you know what, try to prove that this AI is not working. Try to prove that this AI is trash. And an investor is suspecting that the model that you built is actually, it's going to scale to be a unicorn, right? And you're told, prove that it's not working. And it's very important because, in something that doesn't have sense, it's really good for you to pass the test of time, the test of, hard developers, hard testers. You have to really test it. Um, Another skill that you ought to learn is how to test for biasness and fairness. And of course, the tools, what you're seeing there is the tools, the FairLearn, you're going to learn about them. And then you're also it's also wise for you to understand metric-based evaluation. Once you've understood all of these key things, then you're good to go, actually. Because once you've understood metric-based evaluation, whether you're going to be testing the AI model manually or automatically, then you already know that in the mindset, because the blue and the rock and the perplexity is technical. That is how to as automation, like now the automation testing. But then if you code the manual way, just writing your own output, and you being the human there, touching this is right, this is correct, it's going to be tedious, of course. So that is also good to learn. So it's wise for you to learn that one. So those are the things that it's wise for you to learn as a tester, as someone who's also getting started in testing. I want you to mark that. You can actually pause and just take a screenshot of that. Oh, we'll share this. We'll share the slides later. AI QA mindset shift. Wow, very important. Now, I want you to move from uh, the mindset of do the system actually meet the oracle, right? The expected output. Does it meet the expected result? Does it perform well? Does the system actually reject a login attempt 3 times after the user have, failed to enter the right password? That is black box, right? To a mindset that I want you to adapt when if you're going to be an AI tester is the system output acceptable? Is it safe? Is it reliable? Is it reliable under real world conditions? That is the mindset that you ought to have. You ought to have. So as a QA for AI, right? You're going to expand your scope from just uh, testing based on the correctness or if it meets the oracle to something that is more of a social thing, more so because we're learning about LLMs, right? You're not just trying to find a logical bug. You're trying to find a social bug, right? Something that is the line is too twin. When an LLM generates something that is plausible, something that seemingly is true but actually it's wrong, it's hard to find the truth there. So it's please change that mindset. It's going to stretch you to actually find that very thin layer between a reality, the truth, and affect reality. Yeah. What next? Let's see what comes next on the slide. If you have questions here, also mark that. We're going to cut back there. Now,
Yes. I'm just marking all of them. You'll answer after.
all right, thank you. We are now at our slide. You want to see? This is blue, right? Uh, I was I was I was trying to read this and I was reading it as a color, right? But it's okay. It's that is a pronunciation, and you see the way you read the color blue. That's how you read that. So we've talked about. Let me just get back here. We've talked about this. Oh, sorry. We've talked about this in this. We talked about the output quality evaluation, and we talked about the blue here as one of the tools, or rather, yeah, it's one of the tools that is used to test the quality. Now, I want us to just explore this, just an example, because I can't bombard you with a lot of things that also might just may not help you at the end of the day, because there's a lot of things that you've learned. So I want you to learn something that you can actually observe today, and also so that if we at the end of the day we can see the essence of actually doing this AI testing journey, or rather the course. Now, so let us explore the blue and see how that is done. Now, the blue stand for the bilingual evaluation understudy. So this is mostly used in translation of text. You see, when you are telling someone to translate from French to English, we use blue to check on the precision, the recall, and of course the F1 score. Now, why blue? Why blue? Now, the fact that AI, as we said before, is probabilistic. We needed something. The AI community needed something that can provide strict string matches, something that can actually uh, translate a language from French to English correctly, following the correct grammar. You see, so Plu was actually founded several years back then in the 2000s and two thereabout, before uh, some of you guys were born. I don't know when were you born, but I think probably before some of you guys were born, or you're still kids like that. Someone was doing a research to actually ensure the quality of translations. You see, yeah. So it's very important. So how Blue works, I'm going to show that on the next slide. So how it works, let me just explain this, then I'm going to show just how that works. So it splits, sorry, it splits the text. Let's say you've given a text to translate, a model to translate. It splits them into n-grams. So n-grams, you can revert to n. N is just but a word to use. You remember summation of n terms, right? So the number of words, the n-grams. So, but a unigram is one word. Bigrams is two by, and then the most we normally use the 4 grams. So it splits the translated text into one word, and then it matches it with the reference text. So it basically try to see what is there an overlap between uh, between the reference text and the candidate. We are going to be using candidate and the reference text. So the reference text is something that you as a person, human in the loop, you see the essence. You as a person who's a domain expertise, not just anyone, someone who's a domain expertise. And when I say domain expertise, I'm saying if you're a techie, uh, you will you will possibly be testing models that are relating to your field. If you're a medic, of course, some things we can't understand, right? So a medic will also be testing that their based on their reference. I hope you get the point. And then it now scores them. And of course, it's a binary scoring because it scores it as an overlap it's either an overlap or a norm or a perfect match. It's a binary kind of classification here. Now, so yeah, let me just go to the next slide and see something here. What is here? Demo results. Okay, how linear in action. All right, now this is where I want us to. I really deserve to spend some good time here because I like a testing. It's interesting. And by the way, guys, before we get even to do this demo, I wanted to say that um, testing of AI, more so as a person who have a tech background, it has some good man. Well, I don't have a chat before, yet, but I'm just saying I'm seeing the potential in it. So it's really something because I was just trying to review. I was reviewing recently. I was reviewing how these people are making money with testing models. Let's talk about remote tasks. See something like that. They really make some good money. And of course, I'm not talking about the labeling of data and the sort. I'm talking about professional testing. Anyway, you can go and explore on that. Now,
Emmanuel, I don't know if you'd want to answer the questions first before we get into the practical.
can I see the questions first? So,
Yeah.
like, let me just stop and then see if I can actually answer them now, or just relax.
Can read for you the first one. What are the biggest risks or consequences if an AI system is not tested thoroughly?
Sorry, can I see the question? What
Yes,
is?
let me share my screen. It's easier.
Oh, I can actually see. What are the biggest risks or consequences?
Let me stop sharing. Okay, you can see it, or I just share.
Yeah, I can actually see it. So let me just
Yeah.
nimeziangalia. Nice question. Nice question, Peter. That's a nice question. What are the biggest risks or consequences if AI systems aren't tested thoroughly? Um, there's some mission critical software. Let's talk about an autopilot to an auto to do surgery. If it fails, I mean, it causes death. So there are some of the areas where it's so critical, and the chances of failure should be actually zero. Should be actually zero. I mean, there should be no that. So so these are the kinds of, so I think you get the point. The risk is, it can be generic. It can be generic because talk about let's talk about even bias and discrimination. If untested AI can, an untested AI, it can actually bring some discriminatory results. Talk about fields that are high stakes. I've talked about health. Now let's talk about finance and even criminals, justice and the sort, right? Talk about fintech, a loan application, AI that just assign loans. I mean, it may deny you credit, and actually your credit scores is fit. It may actually deny you based on your some demographics. Talk about that. Talk about some algorithms that are used to that are used to that are used in policies. It can, and we're using an AI to actually just enhance the policies. It can mess up. It can mess up a lot. Yeah. What was the next question?
I've sent it to your direct chat so that it's just easier for you to see. So the next question was also, are we using AI assistants to test in agentic testing, or are we testing the AI assistants? I don't know what you meant by that, but
I get you. Okay. So are we using AI assistants to test AI, or are we actually testing the assistants? Now, actually, it's twofold. We are testing both of them. We are testing the AI assistant. We are testing because there's a term normally referred to as LLM as a charge. So LLM as a charge, an LLM is actually used to charge another LLM to check for correctness, for bias, for all of them. List all of those things. So before you actually use an LLM as a charge, I think you get the equation right. You have to test that LLM first. Yeah. What next question? What aspects of AI systems are automable? Uh-huh. Automate. What aspects? Let me think about that. Um, I'll answer that. Let me answer that because it's in the coding session. I'm going to answer that along the line. Thank you. I think if I can go to the demo, but I want you to mark this third question, because actually it's part of my last slide.
okay.
Yeah, part of my last slide, so that I don't want to preempt it. It's part of my last slide. Yeah.
Okay, there's the last one. In AI testing, how do you handle flaky tests?
Yeah, I've seen also that. It's also part of my it's part of my demo.
Okay, thank you. Can proceed.
So can you see my screen?
Not yet, but it seems as if it's loading.
Okay. Now, so let us proceed and see. Now, so I should be sharing my screen now. Oh, let me just get back to the presentation first and see what I'm supposed to. Okay, so let's demo sounds view in action. Let's see how building functionality in output and all right. Thank you. Jacqueline, huh?
Yes.
Could you give me a minute? Let me take a cup of water.
Okay, great. That is fine. So while Emmanuel is taking a breather, I just like to do a refresher on what he has been saying, and what again we are learning on AI testing. So he's gone through some of the foundations of machine learning, some of the foundation of LLMs. We've also talked about traditional software testing versus AI testing. How do we do things now, and how should our... Sorry guys, I didn't notice that I don't have my video on. Yeah, so how do we do our AI testing and our quality assurance testing. And again, what is the mindset that we're supposed to have when it comes to AI testing? Something that I've learned today is on AI testing, especially, is it's probabilistic. So the way we usually have in our test case scenarios, I think also Emmanuel can guide us on how should our test cases now look like, because usually it's our titles, we see our preconditions, our expected results, our actual results. When we say probabilistics, does it mean that we won't have actual results, or what does it mean? Or it won't be clear, or it won't, and maybe he can answer that when he's back. So those are some of the things that we have gone through. He's been able to see what we're doing currently and what we expect in AI testing. We've also been able to see some of the tools that are used in our traditional software testing, in comparison to the tools that are being used in AI testing. Again, with these things, or with AI rapidly evolving, you'll notice that even as we learn these tools, you'll notice that the tools will keep changing over and over. So we are basically getting our feet wet, for lack of a better word. So we're getting our feet wet in order to prepare ourselves for what's to come. So another thing that he has talked about is the tools and frameworks, tools which are used for quality evaluation, tools which are used for fairness and bias testing, tools that are used for robustness and safety, and also some of the tools for observability and tracing. So again, as okay, Manuel is back, but again, as he has explained, there are various tools which are used for various expectations in AI testing. So even as we are going through the practical bit, for me, I'm excited in seeing how everything differentiates with the other thing. So yeah, I think Emmanuel can just confirm if you're set, or I can continue. Some of the questions that will be in the Kahoot session are these descriptions, supervised and supervised. So
okay.
ensure you have your pen, paper. Emmanuel, take it away.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Ready when you are.
Which screen are you seeing?
Ele Marena.
All right, interesting.
Right now we are
to click up now,
seeing,
right?
yes.
So thank you. Now, there's a lot of things that Pew does, and there's a lot of things there's a lot of things behind the Pew. Before we got to actually writing it as or importing it as a package in our testing, we actually have something that there's a math behind it. There's a math behind it, and I'm standing between us going through the math or just us going to the importing the function. But for us to appreciate actually this, I'm going to just take us to this hacking phase. If you want to explore some AI models, just come here and explore some AI models. Now, so as you can see, Plu is a metric, and I'm trying to see something that can be helpful for us here. I'm going to add this as part of the reference in the slides that I'll be sharing even as we proceed. Every slide has to have some reference so that we can actually ground that. It's wise to ground something that you've said, because I mean, we are building and testing real things, so it has to be grounded. Now, so a good tutorial about the math behind Plu is not actually in hacking phase. But it's in this famous website, the Kicks for Kicks. Please go and read this. I was exploring this some other time, and I saw it's really nice. Now, so as we said, Pew breaks down, or it splits data into text, into tokens. So it can either split into in pairs of twos, in pairs of one, in pairs of twos, or in pairs of fours. But in the model, or rather in testing, we're using a pairs of four. But it's wise to learn also pair of one, because there's some of the text that also requires you to test in pairs of one. And I'm going to share with us, even as we proceed, how that is done, because some text that some work needs to be evaluated text by text, and we are going to see how we can actually use Plew not in translation text, but actually in even summarization in summarization of text, and name them. You see, have you ever gone to ChatGPT and tell him to summarize something, to generate a report based on something, retrieving something, you're giving a summary, you understand summary. Now, so so this is the mathematical expression of Plew. We are told that the Plew score actually it does what? Does it increase with decrease in the length of the sentence? Yes, that is it. So the length, the sentence, when the sentence of the length of the sentence increases, the Plew score also decreases as well. Now, this is the general equation, Plew score equation. The PP here stands for the prefix penalty, and we're going to see how that is calculated, and then into the summation of the n-gram. So this is the n-gram, or so they see the n-gram, and of course this is just an example of this is a representative of like an index of 1 to the number of words, or the number of words that we're using, summation of n-grams, or of words from number 1 to the nth gram, and for our case into the 4th gram. We're going to explain that as we proceed. W is for weight. If you've ever built a model, you talk about weight, about those things. Yeah. So this one is a precision score. We're going to actually work on the precision as we proceed. Now, so when you're testing an LLM model, this particular equation has been computed already. It is computed already. Now, we are normally using a modified n-gram, because when you use an unmodified n-gram, it makes a lot of mistakes. A good example is let me just show you something here. A good example is let me just forget about that. It's not here. A good example will be you give an LLM a text, or a reference. An LLM, or rather candidate, gives you it may translate a text. Let's say you say translate Python in French. Python is a good programming language. Then the LLM generates Python. What the Blue is going to do? It's going to compare. At every word, the LLMs, the Blue is actually matching the overlap from the reference text. Now, let me show you something here, and please be patient with me so that you may not get confused. And I normally say, if you don't get it, please don't forget about it. Please ask. Yeah, you don't get it, don't forget about it. Just ask again. Now, let me show you. There's something that I was working on here. Let it load. Now, this is an arena of comparing a lot of models. So there's a lot of models that you can come and compare here. So this is just a type of a working environment. and that we'll be using to test LLM. So this is just exposed, and we can be able to explore some LLMs before they are released to the market and the sort. But if you want to have a good exposure to LLMs, I want you to come to Hacking Face. This one has a lot of models. It has a lot of models. I'm part of there's a lot of communities. There's a lot of communities that talks about models. Now, so where was I now? Where was it? Oh, this one. Now, this particular prompt that I was working on, I was trying to compare the Amazon Nova. This is version 1. The Amazon Nova Pro version 1. These are model against GPT-5. GPT-5 is I think it's the latest model. I saw it last some few weeks ago. I can now access GPT-5. I don't know if it's the latest model, but I think, yep. Now, so this was the prompt that I was working on, and I'm trying to test the generative ability of these two LLMs so that I can compare. Now, I told these two LLMs to generate a pack report for a login page where the system crashes after three failed attempts. After three failed attempts. Now, this is to generate a report for a login page. So what do we expect? Of course, we expect a report that is well documented. It has a report ID. It has the date that was reported. It has the severity score. It has a priority. We expect some summary, and also some step to reproduce so that the dev can come and see, okay, this was it, right? This is where they actually error, and be able to know where to actually solve. Now, so this one we are testing the ability of the LLM to generate the report. So we are testing what are we testing? We are testing the ability of the LLM to generate the report. How well was it trained in generating generating new data, or generating new not new data, but in generating text rather. Now, I'm going to pick the summary. The system crashes unexpectedly after 3 consecutive failed login attempts on the login page. Now, when we are testing LLMs as well, we can actually test all of these things, but there's a lot of different kind of tests that is actually done here, because, for instance, I mean, the coverage. You can test um, you know if it's bias. A lot of them. We can test a lot of things here, but I want us to see how well this particular summary was produced, because you can be able to note that the word count for this particular Amazon Nova P1 and GPT-5 are two different. They're actually different. Now, I want us to pick this, and I'm going to explain how the testing, or rather the scoring, is done. Now, I already have what here. I don't want to go to the matter again now. So when you're here, who knows a board? Do we have a board that we can use, a digital board? Who knows one? I want to draw something here. Do you have a board that can do some scripting here? Can someone find one and tell me which board can we use? I just want to demonstrate something here. As we find, I want us to let me walk you through this example that is already on board. Now, you've given an LLM, let's say a translation model. Let's talk about translation. Forget about the other text. I'm going to get back there. Let me just talk about translation, because there's an example that has been given here. Now, I'm going to explain this very well. Now, we want to translate this French to English, right? So we have a reference text, and we said human in the loop. You as a man, oh yeah, man is generic. So please, man is generic. Both women and men. We all men, right? So we have reference text. So this picture, this is reference text one. This is generated by a human being. Let me use that word. And this is another reference text. So we are going to be using this reference text to actually analyze if this machine learning, if the model has generated something that is actually correct or something that is scored correctly with the reference text. So we have the source and we have the reference text. Now, how is that done? We're going to break the machine translated text, which is the picture by me, into unigrams. So when we talk about unigrams, we talk about split them into words. And this is what is done if you're going to be doing it manually. So you come and break, you write the picture by me, you write them here on a table. And then you come and now count, you come and see the very occurrence of these particular words, these unique words. How often do they appear in the machine translated text? So you can see the appears twice, picture appears twice, and by appears one, and me appears one. Now, how do we calculate the pleo? How can we use the pleo now to calculate the score, rather to give us the score? Now, in pleo, this particular function, it has some restrictions and just a way of doing its own things. Now, so what pleo does, it comes and it comes and matches. Basically, it matches. Let's say this one. So it comes and say, this is translated text. Does it match with our reference text? Because this is what we expect it to actually come. This is actually what we expect it to be presented. This is what we expect the model to actually gives us, right? So we have the picture by me. Does it appear here? Now, so there's two ways. The first way is that the player will come and see the appears in the reference text one. Does it really appear? No, right? But it appears in the reference text two once, right? So it takes that one. Remember, in the equation we said that we're going to be doing the summation. The picture, does it appear in the reference text? Yes, it appears, and it appears here. So it also notes that it appears in the reference text one and in reference text two. It notes that. And then the picture, another instance of the, it's also going to see that it appears another instance. There's this other the. Let me finish, then I'll say that. And then picture, it appears once, by it appears twice, and me appears twice. Now you can already tell that it's not arranged, right? If you split them into words, it's not going to be arranged, because imagine this the, we are matching it against the here that actually comes at the very beginning of the sentence, or rather at the very beginning of the reference text. So what the pleo does, it takes the maximum count of appearance, and then it also combines this particular reference text in forms of twos. So it says this picture, there's one word, so that at least there's that similarity. There's these two words. Let me use Kiswahili. Hizi maneno mbili zimefuatana, right? So it's actually, it can be a sentence by itself, this picture, right? So it's easy for it to actually score that as relating, rather than just coming and saying this the appears anywhere in the text. It's not going to make some sense, right? So that is how it come and score. So we're going to see that. So when that is scored, and then when that decision is actually made, and we come and take the maximum, right? We normally refer to it as the clipped count. The clipped count is the source, the machine text, this text being referenced with this particular text. How well does it follow each other? There's a lot of things that goes in place, but the most important thing is this words that are in the machine text are appearing in the reference text. But we cannot account for each and every word. We just account it for the maximum number of times it appears, right? So because let's talk about, because this appears once, that is just going to be one. The picture, it appears twice. Picture appears twice. We're going to take the minimum. So because this one, we have the picture which is appearing twice and also appearing twice here. We're going to take the minimum of them. It's called the harmonic mean, and you're going to take the one. You're going to take the one here, and then now we sum that. We sum the count and divide it with the reference text that was the machine translated text. Now this one is our target, and this is our reference. I don't know if that is well understood, but in our next class we're going to revisit that. I know that it might confuse some few people. Hapa na pale. Now, so let me just show you something else here. Let me just go to. Just as it loads, I just want to say something that understanding the math behind it is going to help us appreciate this particular score. It's going to help us understand the score. So don't mind about the complexities. If it's complex, I don't know if is it complex. It's actually easy, but you're going to understand that step by step, bit by bit. Now, I want us to see how Plu can actually be computed. And as I said, thanks to frameworks, thanks to libraries, we can actually be able to just import it as a package because it's already computed. So it's so easy for us to work on it. So I'm going to write a little code here, and so I'm going to import. This is the natural language toolkit from the natural language toolkit. NLTK. I want us to import something that I want us to import this particular package. It's called the translate. So I want us to understand. I want us to just get the Plu score specific package. So this is all package. So from this from the package, I want us to import this particular library that we're going to use. It's called the sentence, because we specifically need we need this function. The function is found in this particular sentence Plu. So I don't know if my name is correct. Now let me just proceed and write something else here. Now, so from that we're going to just give some reference as well. The reference text. So we're going to give the reference text. So I'm going to summarize that. But in a real world, you're not going to be actually manually doing this. You're going to be feeding the references directly into the we're going to be feeding the references directly from a data source. And yeah, so I want to write this one. PyTest is a testing framework. Is a testing framework by what? By Python, or in Python. I want us to write just a normal statement like that. So I want us to split this. So we call it the split function because remember we have to split them. Yeah. So another one is another reference text 2. I can actually just copy this to save on my time. And just come and see the reference text to this PyTest. Let me Python is a Python. Let me say this. I mean, what can I hinder here? Let me just say Python. Let me just say Python. Just say Python. So, let me just say PyTest. Also after PyTest is a Python framework. Now, I want us to calculate the blue score for these two reference texts. But the most important thing is for us to understand, for us to check that ensure that this particular library is important, because that is where the magic happens. Okay, just give me a minute. Let me use AI to check my grammar. All right, thank you. Now, so once that is done, I hope you can see whatever that I'm doing. Let me just come and copy the same thing here. You know, the funny thing about this, what's happening? The funny thing about okay, now that is done. I've given it the sentence, the reference sentences, and I want us to come and just now write the function. I want us to call the function to just calculate the blue score. Meanwhile, you guys be writing the questions, because we're going to proceed and do something else here from here. Now, so we've given the reference text. So remember, we have the two reference text, but now we don't have the candidate, right? So we will be evaluating the reference text based on the we will be evaluating the reference text based on the what? Based on the candidate, and the candidate is the text that the ML itself, no, is what the ML itself generated, right? So and one thing, when you're writing this, it's normally advisable to use is it caps lock? No, not caps lock. It's small caps, lowercase. Meanwhile, kuna mtu ako na swali as we just proceed?
Not a question, but there are a number of tools that have been shared on the chat. There is Excalibur, there is Scribbly. So just some of the you could ask on the same. So that has been shared on the chat.
Right. There's something else that I also have to inform you guys that I'm going to check on that. I'm going to use that for. I think that is for drawing, right?
Or maybe Anne can tell us. There's Scribbly as well, and Kyuba is saying Sketchpad. Is Sketchpad an AI?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Now, all right, I'm going to use that to demonstrate something in a few. Now, there's something else, guys, that I want us to just see. You know, sometimes for us to multitask is a bit hard. Trying to explain something that you're doing at the same time you're doing. But it's okay. We just trying to explain as I just got here. So what I'm trying to do is now calculate the blue score, then I and see. So we're going to use the index of 0 because that was the first reference. Another reference, reference 1, right? Those two. So it's not reference. So this is reference 2. This was reference. This was reference 1, of course. Yep. 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 Reference 1. Right. Yeah. And I close that. I close that. Right, there's another error. Let's just explain that error and just solve it very quickly because of time. Now, I want us to also, I want us to, no, just accept and drag this one.
Let me ask a question for myself as well. So the code that you're writing, is it part of what as QAs we are going to write, or yeah?
Okay, now the code that I'm writing is, yes, it's part of the code that you're going to write. So I've just removed a snippet of the code. You know, you see when you're writing, when you're going to build an automated framework to actually perform the test,
Yep.
this is just a snippet of something that you're going to, if you're testing for the blue score, all of them. You see, the blue score that we're getting here is, it's an harmonic. It's harmonious. So it has been harmonized basically. So you know, when we are testing something, or we are testing some data or some reference text using blue, it has to calculate the recall. It also has to calculate the F1 score. You know, the F1 score is the last one. It calculates precision first, then the F1 score, the recall, and then the F1 score. But I'm going to explain that on our next session. So I just want you to hang tight there. Yeah, but this is it. This is just a snippet and part of the larger architecture. If you're going to build a framework to test that, because you have to anyway, this is what you'll be writing. Now, so first thing first, we gave it our reference text, and we told the model, we told our library, or rather our library, yes, of course, to split this the reference text into unigrams. The split. Then after splitting, we also passed the candidate, and the candidate is also going to be split. Now, once that is done, we compute now the score, the blue score. And a score of one, of which you see this is actually, a score of one basically means that this particular model has calculated, has scored its precision to be at 1, because we are using something called the unigram. We are testing each and every single word. So, you know, the problem with testing it using a single word, or just testing it based, I mean, what I mean is the problem with our candidate, or rather the model, the library, coming to find PyTest, if it exists anywhere here, if is exists anywhere here, if testing exists anywhere here, if framework exists anywhere here, and Python exists anywhere here, is that sometimes it may give a wrong precision, because there's some words that are not catched. But actually, if you try to read this particular reference well, you realize Python is a testing framework. So it doesn't come and check if that is true in the sense of if it means in the meaning, but it just sees the similarity. It sees the similarity. So for us to also test the truth, there's another test that we're actually going to write to actually now test if the words that have been given here is actually true. Because remember, I said that LLMs hallucinate a lot. Yeah, so I know that perhaps I've confused a lot of people. So I want to kindly stop there and say something. I was just reading this blog and say something that for you to understand this, please don't see it as please come and read. Just look at the logic behind the function, and then once you've understood the logic behind the function, it's going to be easy for you to even write these equations. Yeah, so it's actually easier than perhaps we expected, or maybe yeah. So let me get back to my slide and see what is remaining.
Yeah.
Oh,
Also, I think you were to compare between two
to what?
two models, if I'm not wrong. I don't know if that is like that has already been done.
Thank you for actually saying that. Now, so I want you to see this one. This is this was a score that I was working on, part of the demo. Now, I want you to see this blue score, and I'm sorry, Siko explain here that this reference text number 1 and this reference text number 2. This one is 1 and 2. Okay, this 1 and 2. Now, so these are human written, but now this translation here, this this candidate here is going to be a source from the different models. So, for instance, when I come to my bench here, I had actually I'm going to run a test here for translating this. So translate this text. Let me start here. Translate this one in French. If you can read French, you can read that. And the translation is given here. Python is a testing framework for Python is a testing framework for Python. No, PyTest. PyTest is a testing framework in Python. Now, so this is two models you can see. This is generation format, model 1 and model 2. So how do we evaluate these two models? Now, to evaluate these two models, we're going to inject both of these outputs in different functions. And what I mean by function is basically we're going to call this, we're going to pass it as a candidate. So this particular candidate, if you can see, this PyTest is a testing framework for Python. This was actually a response by Amazon, right? You can see Python. This was an ini for Python. Yeah. So that's how we actually compare them. But to add on this, there's a lot of other things as well that I don't want to preempt at the moment, and that is part of the class that we're going to begin, because yeah, we cannot like just preempt everything now. In our next session, so we're going to go into in-depth as well of now how that is done, because there's a lot of other things that is actually tested here. And just to add, as I come to the end of this short demo, is that we're going to build a framework. We're going to build a framework just to make things easier, to help us in this testing. So we have introduced the snippets of the code. We're going to combine them and just see a framework that will run all of these particulars, the said things together. Check for biasness, check for all of those things that I've said before. So that is it. And we are also, the framework is going to compare all these particular the models as well. So I think that is it. That is what I can say. And also remember, when you're testing a model, you are not normally testing it against another model, but you are actually, because you are employed by a company XYZ to test their model. That is why we have reference model. So we normally test it based on the reference model, right? But there's another advanced way for us to get such kind of leaderboards. We have to compare two different kinds of models. And that is something that I'm going to share with us all. Don't worry. Something that is part of the process. Before I just go back to my slides, let me just get there and see something. I wanted to say what? All right, can you see my slides, or I'm sharing a different window? Let me just get there. Stop sharing, just a minute. Just a minute, I'm sharing something, just a minute. I'm sharing something in a minute. Right. Now, I wanted to show you some of the tools that we'll be learning all the way. We've learned about the PLU, just a little bit of it. We're going to break it down well in our next classes. Now, so there's the ROC, and there's the meta and the part score. These are used for assessing the quality. They're normally used together with PLU. Actually, they're normally used together with PLU, and then I actually have them. So I wanted to share that with you guys. I have already just a walkthrough of those things as I come close to the end. Just my screen. Right. Now, so this one is the AIF 360. This is used to score the fairness. It's a fairness metric. So it's used to check on fairness. And this is actually, if you can see, this is a very good library. You can actually import this and work on it to test fairness for your models. So it's actually an open source and it's a library. Yeah, so it's such a good thing from the word AI Fairness 360. So it has a lot of metrics. It's a metric by itself, and as you can see here, it's used to mitigate biasness in data sets and models. So our focus is not going to be on data set, but rather on models. Yeah, so that is it about this library. So I'm going to show you how to actually just import this, so you don't have to worry about it. Fairlearn. Another one is Fairlearn. It's also used to check on fairness as well. You can just install it as well. So you see, you don't have to if you really, and I really advise you to work on the automated part of testing. In as much as we also have a lot of manual testing in the space of AI. In fact, it's a lot, 80%. This is also something that we're going to use Fairlearn as well. Yeah. Another one is that was just a blog that I was reading. The detox. The detox. This is used for toxicity. Hey, how can I pronounce that? I think you get what I was trying to say. So this is something else I'm also going to learn about, and they have a library. So it's a company, but they also have a library that is open source. They can be able to check on it. Yep. So what else do I have to work? Let me get back to the slide and see something here and share another screen. Mhm. So get back here. In case I shared the wrong screen, but it's okay.
Currently can't see anything.
You can't see anything.
No.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm sorry for that. I did something else. I wanted to share another screen here. So it should now be up in a minute, in a second. I mean, so at the end of the just at the end of our classes, we'll have understood the clue, the rock, and all of these things, these tools. We've checked. We've seen fairness. We've seen the Fairland, the AI. I have 360. It's actually from IPM. We also seen the Detoxify, and we've realized that all of them are available in library form. So it's actually very easy for you to work on. For safety, you're going to use this is deep eval. You're going to use text attack. These are the tools that we're going to learn, and they're also available in form of libraries. This one now is the Langsmith. It's something. It's from the Longchain. Longchain is something that is used in agents, most specifically for you saw something called multi-step reasoning tukisoma tukiongelea agents tukianza. So this is something that we're also going to be using in agentic AI, specifically to monitor how the agents interact. You know, for an agent to work, it has to make some prompts. So we're going to evaluate that in that entire pipeline. That's why it's part of a pipeline. Yeah, it's going to be embedded on a pipeline. Yeah, and this is weights and biases. Weights and biases are not. It's not a tool. This is not a tool, but just it's. Well, what can I say? It's quantifiable thing. It's like the weight. How much does this affect this? And tool lens, very good tool as well. So those are the kind of tools I'm going to learn at the end of the day. Yep. So I think I've come to the end of this presentation. Uh, and my parting shots will be AI testing is different but familiar. Why do I mean by that? You're basically expanding your functional testing to now test on something, as I said before, the social aspects. That we're going to be testing some things that are kind of not in the functional testing part of things, the fairness, the safety, the precisions, and the sorts. Uh, another parting shot is that metrics is very important. They are very important. They are very important because this is what actually give merit to a model that it's actually good for usage or for shipping. You can say that. Now, you guys are prepared. If you are a tester, you're actually prepared. If you're a tester already, you're prepared to test models. You're prepared. You won't necessarily have to write the code. You can actually just be a tester who test the Gen AI by prompting, and that is actually very nice. And I have a guide on that as well I can share. It's just a really nice thing. And when you're doing that, you can actually use another LLM to actually help in doing so. So you see how we were using AI to generate test cases and scenarios. We can actually use an LLM as well to do what? To test another LLM. So that is how easy it is. That's how easy it is to test. And when you're using AI to test another AI, of course, we are now becoming the human in the loop. You're seeing the sense of being the man in the loop, rather in the entire pipeline. So yeah, moving forward, we have said that those are the things that we'll be doing, and we're going to be doing a lot of demos. And the core idea is, before you actually go there and just now start, you see, using automated tools to actually test AI. Let us understand the foundation so that we can appreciate whatever that we are doing and actually appreciate ourselves as testers. At least we know something we know the function behind the scores, behind the metrics. So it has to tap in our minds. We have to just understand that, because it's actually very critical for us to understand. Yeah. So yeah, and guys, the world needs testers. It needs AI testers, and let's do it. Back to you.
Thank you
Zach.
so much. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Before you go, we have some questions which you said I should remind you on. Let me just read them out. There were question number 3 and number, let me get them, number 3 and number 4. So maybe I can just read them again. What aspects of AI systems are automatable? For instance, Gen AI chatbots. What parts of, say, Gen AI chatbots are automatable? Emmanuel, I don't know if you're still with us. So while Emmanuel is coming back, there are 3 questions that had been raised. We'll just wait for him to respond on the same. There's another for, in AI testing, how do you handle flaky tests? The last question was, among all these tools, which ones are the most commonly used in the industry today and why?
All right. Now, I'm sorry. I thought I had muted Kumbe Bado. I thought I had unmuted Kumbe Bado. So, what Nini can be automated now? So, I'll share a resource on that if you can allow me, and I'll answer the question that you just asked about which tools are used. All of these tools,
Yeah.
AI testing is a new avenue. So all of these things are used. All of them. All of them are used. AI is very large. I mean, it's really, really very large. It's really, really very large. Yeah. So there's the other question that I actually don't understand well, because do you mean um, what aspects of AI systems are? What aspects? I mean, is it? Do you
Sorry,
mean the aspects? Do you mean things?
what aspects of AI system are automatable? I think the person who raised this, I think, was, let me just get their name, Gloria Chepkoech. If you're still on the call, maybe you can just expound on that. But from a layman, what I understand by it is, say, you see, for web, the way we are able to automate, you're supposed to automate login process or any other process. So in my understanding, maybe that's what she meant, but Gloria, I can see you're on the call, so maybe you can respond on what you actually meant. While we wait for Gloria. Yeah, Emmanuel, just for me, I'd ask, say, for example, you're building a model that is so different, like there's no other model that, I don't know, has a match such that you can compare the two. What do you use as your reference? Do you say, if it's an LLM, do you use any other random LLM that maybe is not in that specific domain? Or how do you handle such a scenario?
All right. So let's say you're building a novel. Jacqueline, I know you can understand when I say novel.
Yeah.
Something that does not exist.
Yeah.
Well, there is a lot of research before a model is actually built, right? So before you plan beforehand, and because AI is something that consumes it consumes a lot of Jackie, can you stop? Yeah, stop sharing your screen. Now,
Okay.
you can actually, as I said, you're planning beforehand. So
Yeah.
it's something that consumes a lot of data. And so you have to as you're starting, this is going to be the data that I'm using to evaluate, to train, and also to test, right? So that data that you used in building the model and say this is the test, that means you're testing that model based on that data, right? So we already have a background of whatever that model actually want to do. And reference, as I said, is generated by humans. You see, it's generated by humans. So forget about the AI in the loop, or no, forget about the LLMs being a judge. Forget about that for a moment. You'll be the one actually doing that, right? Yeah. And because you have data, you can now build an LLM to actually charge that. I don't know if I've answered your question, really.
Yes. Okay.
Any other question?
Hi, Jackie.
Gloria, hi.
Oh, yeah, I had challenges unmuting. So my question was, since we are used to the tradition, tradition, okay, not really the tradition or the systems that we work with currently, maybe the mobile app or the web, we are used to outputs that we can determine the output and they are fixed. But now for AI, for instance, the generative AI chatbot, for instance, if it's for instance hospital, so I wanted to ask what can you automate on that kind of a chatbot, given that now you cannot determine the output. Does it mean that you cannot automate?
Thank you. I think now it's not seeking. I think Jackie had also identified that well. Now, thank you. Now, as I said, as a QA, you have the mindset already, and you're ready to test the models, right? So the fact that you don't have a deterministic output does not mean that you can't automate anything. We have just seen how you can automate the scoring of data that has been translated from another language to another language. That itself is actually automatable. So you automate, you automate the function, you automate the metrics. This is the metrics that we're using to test the fairness, all of those things. You automate that so that you don't have to come and read it and charge this is wrong, this is right. You automate that. Yeah, you also automate. Maybe just something else. You also automate. You see when we're measuring you see what is it called? In classification models, right? When you're measuring if this particular model has actually classified something into the right thing, you actually automate that model to identify the true positives. Like this model has correctly classified this to the correct particular class and the sort, right? Yeah. So that is it in the level of the system. But of course, there's another one. There's a lot of other things. If you are now even testing the data, you can actually automate the data consistency, the completeness of the data, the distribution of the data, checking if that is correct. Yeah, but I'm trying to say something that is relevant to testers. So yeah. Back to you.
Okay. Gloria, is that satisfactory?
Sure, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So I think that has been, for me, it has been a lot. So we are going to do something interesting. We're going to do a Kahoot. I don't know if you guys can see my screen. Let's see. I've sent a Kahoot session there. Can you guys see it? Can you see the pin? Just click on open and see 2 people have. Let me see whether I can share my screen. I can see we have Nyamai and Teddy joining. So I'm going to do a small Kahoot just to, you know, see whether we grasped even one thing. Let's see, how do you share it? Okay, I'll just share my screen normally, the way you share your screen. Okay. Hey, we are 27 in the call, 25. We need more people to join. Oh, player limit reached. Kwani it allows only 2. That's very, very interesting. Really? Oh, okay, guys, I'm so sorry. That could have been detected. QAs of Kiwami Tech. Where are you? You'd have detected that earlier. But now that means Team Dog and Team Fox, you guys are going to compete, as well as just anyone in the chat. You can comment your answers. So even if you comment your answers in the chat, we'll pick them. And then we'll use them as, remember we have ISTQB, reduced ISTQB vouchers, certificate to awards. Instead of paying 18K for your foundation level, you'll be paying 12K. So they're reduced ISTQB vouchers on the same. Sorry guys, we're not able to, I don't know why we didn't see this. Let's see, you reached max amount, interesting. Okay, so we start, so it's basically going to be 2 people. Let's see. Skip tutorial, please. So again, if you know the answer, just put it there. We're going to pick them. The first question is going to be, this is interesting. Just a second, guys. Kiwami Tech, we need you guys. Just a second, people. We see why it's giving us a weird view. So as we wait for that, maybe what we can do, to be fair, to be very fair, we are going to I'm going to display the answers, the questions, and then we're going to answer them. We're going to go back a little bit to be as though Kahoot never existed. So I'm going to share the questions. Just a second, please, guys. I'm not quite sure what is happening. Okay, cool. I think we can work with this. So I'll share my screen again. So the first question is, what is the meaning of, we were told it's called Bulu. Someone lied to us that it's Bulu. If you know the answer as well, you can just put it there. We can ask one person. Guys, I don't see any answers on the chat. I don't see anything on the chat at all. Does it mean by link? Lord, it's giving us answers. So it's either binary language evaluation units, is it bilingual evaluation and study, is it basic learning evaluation utility, or is it big language efficiency units? Kiriba has said bilingual evaluation and study. I've just noticed that whatever we are seeing with the answers. Anyway, so let's use this as our revision since it's giving us the answers as well. So we just go to the next one. Now we'll find another thing to give awards to. Why is testing AI systems different from traditional QAs? Lord. Okay, let me see what I can do, guys. This is not favoring anyone. But I can see Brian Tonui has said their outputs are deterministic. No, I think for AI, they're probabilistic. You don't know what the answer is really. You don't know, unless I'm wrong, Emmanuel, you can expound on the same. You don't know exactly what the answer is. You're basically comparing data. So again, it has given us an answer already before we went through the answer. Oh, really? Okay, cool. So I'll find something interesting to use it as a gauge for the ICQB vouchers. Which of these is an example of supervised learning? So PAM detection, Collins has said clustering test logs. This is not interesting at all. We really needed the Kahoot, but it's okay. So an example of supervised learning is spam detection. Maybe someone can tell us the difference between supervised and unsupervised. I think Emmanuel had already mentioned that. Let me pick someone in random. Guys, I'm sorry for doing this to you. Blame it on. If you want me to take QAs. We can get, I'll pick on someone I know. So Isaiah, what's the difference between supervised and unsupervised as we go to the next section? Maybe you can answer us after the call, after the example of Kahoot session that we're doing. So what challenges makes NLP testing complex? What challenges make it complex? Is it programming languages are ambiguous? Is it that NLP is ambiguous? Data is always labeled. Words can only mean one thing. So I can see it has already given us an answer. Natural language is ambiguous. Why not programming languages? Maybe you can pick on someone else to just tell us that. David, you can share with us that after this session. So LLMs like GPT use which architecture? I think that one is very easy. Transformers. If you're into AI, that's literally the first thing they say. GPT is built on transformers. Very interesting. So which of these is not a challenge unique to AI testing? It's not unique to AI testing. It can be experienced by anyone. Yes, hey, Brian is on a roll. I think it goes without saying that Brian takes the voucher today. So which tool is used for bias detection in AI testing? Which tool is used for bias detection? That's interesting. is fairness bias detection? Maybe Emmanuel, you can just expand on that. That one I would have failed, that one for sure. Yeah, so AI testing, yay or nay? What do you guys think? Is it too hard? Is it too challenging? Is it something we can do? Is it AI testing, yay or nay? Can also get that from the feedback form. So again, sorry guys, that Kahoot session did not go as beautifully as Kahoot sessions usually go. However, I think we've gained quite a number of insights, especially on AI testing. So just to give you guys hope. For me, I needed hope because again, AI is a new thing, and most of the time you find that we come in last, especially when we are testing items. Developers work on it, and then us, we come in after things have been cemented. But as everyone can see, AI is rapidly changing. And I think it's good for us to be part of the jargon, for lack of a better word. So if you're in the SDET community group, there's a JD that was sent that I think most of us were just shook because it basically exposed the lack thereof of AI in general. And so as Kiwami Tech, we are going to have classes whereby in those classes we're going to go through AI testing and different modules. Let me just share the link to you guys. So we're going to have an in-depth. Let me know what you can see. Just a second. Where we're going to have an in-depth lesson on the same. We're going to know more about AI testing. We're going to have an insight on all the AI testing tools that are currently in the market. So I'm just going to show you guys whatever I've shared right now. Because again, I think Emmanuel has mentioned that there is money in that industry. Right now, it's no longer about automation anymore. For us who are automation gurus, we were priding ourselves on automation and performance. Now we are getting AI testing and we are getting worried because we have no idea how to do that. But now this is where now our professionals are coming in, people who have actually done AI testing. Of course, today's session was just a sneak peek of what we expect and a sneak peek of what is going to take place. Definitely, we are not, unless you are a very quick learner, getting to understand the different sections of AI testing. I think as again, Emmanuel has mentioned, there's the aspect of understanding LLMs, understanding models. So we as Kiwami Tech, we are going to have AI testing classes and AI testing trainings, whereby we are going to have different modules. Today we did module 1, and module 1 is basically the basics and the NLP fundamentals. I think most of us who are AI enthusiasts, it was more of a repetition when it comes to supervised learning, and so those are basically the basics which you are introduced into when you start getting interest in AI. So in this case, in our modules, that's what we're going to start with. We're going to start with machine learning, step by step, hands-on. If you've trained with Kiwami Tech, you know hands-on experience is what we pride ourselves in. So the hands-on experience, I think I've not seen a lot of questions, which I'm really eager to see when we start the trainings. A lot of questions. You don't understand, you just raise your hand. So we're going to have a 12-week program, which will include machine learning basics, NLP basics. If you see week 2, we are going to have LLM fundamentals, machine learning testing. Week 3, we are going to have LLM evaluation metrics, as well as bias testing. Again, the hands-on aspect, getting you from the ground up. Week 4, we are going to have, again, LLM evaluation tools and test automation pipelines. Again, this is AI testing. We are testing the models, we're testing the LLMs, we're testing the agents. We are also going to go to fairness testing frameworks. I think in the slides where Emmanuel was taking us through the important things that are supposed to, we're supposed to go through in terms of AI testing. We're supposed to check for robustness, we're supposed to check for fairness. So those kind of things we're going to, take them through when we're doing our trainings. There's also the toxicity and content safety and bias mitigation strategies. In week 7, I'm just taking you through the entire view. In week 7, again, you can access it from the link that I've shared with you guys. Week 7, we have adversary testing 1 and adversarial testing 2. Week 8, long chain for prompt bias testing. I think, again, Emmanuel has mentioned that about prompt bias testing. So this is going to be more detail, giving you more details. Week 9, we're going to have MLOps for testing and RAG basics. Week 10, we're going to have grounding and factuality checks and LLM evaluation frameworks. So just to get down into week 11 and 12, there's reporting and observability, alerting for AI regression. And then finally, week 12, we're going to have the project. The importance of the project is that we need to understand that, we need to know that you actually understand what you're going to do and what you're going to study. So yes, so we've taken upon ourselves to come up with this so that to guide us. Again, as I've mentioned, if you're in the SDET group, that JD was a bit shocking. So this is just a guide to help us get ahead of the curve. So again, there's someone who's doing the hard work. We're the ones who are going to just consume them in bits, okay? So that's one thing that I wanted to share with you guys. I hope the session has been very nice. I hope at least you've understood something. Again, just to go through the registration process, the payment for the training is, if you just want one module, say you just want to know machine learning basics, you can get the module specifically, just that one specific module at that cost. And then for the weekly, you can get it at 4,000. For the full cost, you can get it at 50,000. So you choose whatever you want to choose. However, if you choose to do the project, you have to have done all the modules, so that isikwe unakuja kwa project, then we teach you the entire thing. So yeah, that is one thing that I wanted to mention to you guys. Aside from that, thank you so much for your time again on a Friday afternoon to join us. Kindly register for these courses. Again, the way automation started, and some of us did not concentrate on automation, and now we are struggling to catch up, is the same way AI testing. AI testing is not as slow as automation testing. AI testing is quite fast. It's moving very fast. It's very interesting. I was actually listening to it's more of a conference on humanoids, and I was very intrigued. I think I might transition to that, basically integrating robotics and AI. So it's very interesting. So, this knowledge is not just knowledge that is going to retain or to just remain with you in a specific domain. Again, there are various domains that are creating models. Health industry, they're creating models. You can find, other domains, they're creating fintechs, especially fintechs. They're creating models for fraud detection. So again, take advantage of this. This is more or less like an introductory prize. I've shared with you guys the link. You can check on it. Our classes are going to start on the 8th of September. I hope to see you guys there. Of course, I'll share all these details to your emails. I think that is it. Unless there's anyone who wants to comment or say anything. Aside from that, as Kiwami Tech, there's some of the programs that we are having currently. Again, I'll just share with you guys all this. As I had mentioned initially, when you started the program, we have a test community. We are building a test community, and the test community is going to have a lot of perks, including the free webinars, including bug bash sessions. So yeah, so I mean, you're very welcome to joining the community. Again, we have hackathons. Like next year, we're going to have a hackathon with people from the West, Nigerians. So I mean, if you're part of the test community, there's the advantage of being part of the hackathon. Again, of course, the hackathon is going to be to have gifts and awards. So I'll just share all this on the chat. I don't know if you guys can see. Today's Zoom has been really hard for me, but we will conquer. So guys, just tell me if you can see everything. I hope you can. Again, just some of the things that as Kiwami Tech we do have. We have again, as I mentioned, the QA community. We have the testimonials. Sorry, no, the testimonials are not for you guys. So we have the QA community. We have, just give me a sec, guys. I think I've sent you the wrong thing. Okay, let me just get that for you. But we have the QA community, the Kiwami Tech community. We have a talent pool management, again, for those who want to be put in our talent pool. We have quite a number of clients, especially this last quarter. We have quite a number of guys who are coming in to request for QAs. Again, if you're in the SDET group, you know how many jobs have been sent just this week are requested for. So if you want to be part of the tech community talent pool, again, just register, and then automatically you'll be added to the talent pool. Advantages is that you'll be the first to get this. You'll be the first to get these invites or this career requests. And then also another advantage is we will be having occasional CV building sessions. So yeah, I hope to see your names there. So I just want to share everything with you guys. The most important is the one for Kiwami, for AI testing. I for sure have to attend that as well. So we have also, just to read it out again, we have our bootcamp for university students. So if you're a university student and you'd like to join the bootcamp, there's a bootcamp as well where we teach you on introduction to software testing, and you can also use that as your attachment thing. So I'm just sharing with you guys as well. I think I've shared the AI testing. I want to share the bootcamp for students. So I'll share with you guys also on email, just in case like you're not in a position to access it right now. For our AI testing training course, again, we're going to have it in September the 8th, that is a week from now. So you can come in, see what we are training on. Again, if you've trained with Kiwami Tech, you know we have the LMS access to help you just go through the courses even after. So I think I've shared everything with you guys. Isaiah, unless I've missed something, I've shared the training, I've shared the talent pool, which is quite important, especially now, the end of the quarter. I also want to share with you the community, the Kiwami Tech community. As I've mentioned, Kiwami Tech community has quite some advantages where these webinars are going to be monthly for you guys, and then they're going to be less for the non-members. So I'll just share with you guys as well, that as well. Again, I'll share everything else to your emails and also to the SDET community and the QA community. Yeah, so any questions? Are we all good? How was the session? I think I can pick someone I know to tell us how the session was, and then they can pick someone they do not know for them to tell us how the session was. So I think I'll pick on Collins Odhiambo. How was the session? What did you learn today? Nothing is also an answer.
Hello.
Nothing is the answer we had last time. Yeah.
You can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Collins.
Okay, the session was good. And I think
No, now we can't hear you.
now you can't hear me.
We can hear you now.
Okay, so the session from my perspective was good. We went through a lot of ML fundamentals, the BlueScope, Scopus and Scopus learning. We went also about on testing AI models and why it's important to do the same. So that's what I learned and how the lesson was from my perspective. Should I select someone random to?
Yes, someone you don't know. You can't choose someone you know.
Okay, so let me finish by the brand. Techno CI6.
Sorry?
Techno CI6. If I put MI6, I must say 6.
Okay, there's someone who's joined as Techno C16, I think. I don't know if you can unmute yourself and then you tell us how the session was, and then we can call it an evening. Techno, Collins, your choice has refused. You have to choose another one.
PC.
Okay. So again, yeah. So again, just to not keep everyone here, I hope you benefited from the situation, from the I'm not good at multitasking. I hope you benefited from the training. Again, as I had mentioned, we're going to have more of this. However, they're going to be in training, rather class form. So just reach out in case of anything, in case you have any questions that you forgot to ask, Emmanuel, just reach out so that he can explain on the same. I hope you had a good one. I'll be sharing the recording as well for you guys to just again go through it. So thank you guys for attending. Thank you for spending your Friday afternoon with us. See you on the next one, hopefully next year or sooner. Bye.
Yeah.